This is Delegate Kirk Cox, and I want to inform my constituents some things that were going into the General Assembly this week, especially on the budget. The first point I want to make is that Governor McDonald gave us a very sound structural budget. Let me give you an example. We're going to have $600 million in our rainy day fund by the end of this budget, which is a two-year budget in 2014. I don't think hardly any other state in this type of recession the last few years can claim that. Another very structurally sound policy is we're trying to eliminate something called the accelerated sales tax. It wasn't a good policy when it was implemented, and that is requiring retailers to basically speed up their collection and their remittance of sales tax. And with the governor's budget, he's put about $50 million to basically only have 5% of retailers that still have to do that. And they, I think, have around $26 million in gross sales. So those are two very good items. There's no tax increase in this budget, and that's no small item, because the Democrats have proposed 11 separate tax increases that have been defeated in committee, so Republicans have held fast. You'll also be glad to know that there are no fees in the House budget, so no taxes and no fees. But let me talk a little bit about some of the things we tried to also do on the spending side in a prudent manner. First of all, K-12 education, which is very dear to my heart as a 30-year public school teacher. We've been able to put in around an additional $140 million in K-12, and we put it in smart places. No one could argue that probably the most important thing for an elementary school student is to read. And we've put in an additional $6 million in the third grade reading program. That program will be fully funded 100% by 2014, which we're very, very pleased with. In the area of jobs, the budget is heavily focused. That's been the focus of the governor and the Republican caucus for the last 2 years. And what we've tried to do is prudent investment in job programs. Let me give you some example. Major facility tax credit really tries to help recruit those major businesses. Small businesses, we have a whole host of initiatives for small businesses, one key tax credit that would help them out. Agriculture is not an area that you think about, but it's one of the largest industries in Virginia. For the first time ever, we'll have a $2 million agricultural governor's opportunity fund that will help especially small farmers and small agribusinesses come to Virginia and thrive in Virginia, one of our best known industries. And another area is healthcare. We've heard a lot about our nursing home funding and our hospital funding, and we've tried to basically help both of those entities out with more cash. What we don't want to have is people laid off working in nursing homes and hospitals, and more importantly, we want our citizens that really do need the safety net to be able to go to hospitals and nursing homes. And finally, let me say that in public safety, we're always trying to make sure that our citizens are safe. And we have several very key bills that really address some of the most heinous crimes. First of all, repeat drug dealers. I'm going to repeat that. Repeat drug dealers. These are folks that have already been convicted of drug trafficking, of felony. We've increased the penalties for those criminals that prey upon our children, and also those that commit rape, and especially rape of those under 13. We've increased those penalties. So if you look at all those items, that gives us a very sound budget, a budget that is balanced, a budget that I think Virginia will find very responsible and very prudent. So I want to thank my constituents for the opportunity to talk to you, and hope you have a great week.